kids show from when I was a kid of like. Blip, 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 blip.
This was that rumbling echo we were getting from before.
Okay, it's a cool noise. I mean, if it was a sound effect we inserted in to sound like we're from the future, I'd be all for it. But
Brian, make some noise there. See if it's you.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Sure, who or what that was, but
It
that's
was
what noise was
probably
making.
doing something strange because I was playing the intro music, and if you can't hear it now, then that'll be what was causing it. Anyway, because I played the intro music, it's time for me to read out the intro. You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 10th of June to the 16th of June, starting with, he has to scroll across, slide his eyes over to the other screen, Detective Conan, episode 1086, The Inauspicious Matchmaking, Part 2. We've got our three criminals. Which one of them murdered this copper?
None of them.
No, it turns out it was one of them. But before we get to that, it turns out each of them had committed a crime against the other criminal.
I mean, based off what we know of the culprit Hanazawa, this is like the crime capital of Japan. So I guess it makes sense that all these have committed crimes against each other. Yeah.
Yes. So the shoplifter and pickpocket, she'd previously given up shoplifting and pickpocketing. She'd got a boyfriend and she was able to live off her boyfriend's money. But then her boyfriend couldn't go to work because someone had hit him with a car and then drove off without stopping.
So she's had to get back to pock picketing? Yeah,
Yes.
that.
That turns out to be a hit and run guy. The hit and run guy, why do you hit and run that guy? He was in a hurry. He was in a hurry to get to his sister to deal with the nefarious boyfriend who was ripping her off.
Which was the third guy, and the reason he hung around the shrine as long as he did was because he was looking for his wallet, which had been stolen by the pickpocket. So it's kind of like, and they're all like, you're the reason I'm here and stuck. I've been caught today. And it's just like, no, it's all of you are criminals. It's all your fault.
But they've all got cast iron alibis as to why they couldn't have killed the cop, because they were all clearly in various places. The cop had already caught the pickpocket and handcuffed her to a lamppost. But because she was being mocked by some children, got him to agree to put the handcuffs between a bicycle lock so she could fold her arms to hide the
Make it look like she's waiting for someone at the bike rack. It's just very funny when that's told in flashback of the children just mocking her and him kind of like, I need to run off. I can't have children mocking you. All right. I'm a good guy detective.
The hit and run guy had got into a fight at the shrine. And what were the...
Yeah, he'd met some toughs and that had called the cops. Like,
yes.
yeah.
And the other guy couldn't leave because he'd lost his car keys, which were in the wallet. And so he was searching for the wallet. So that's why they were all hanging around, but all in different spots. And so they go back and forth, but there's lots of stuff with Karaha going, yeah, that's Heiji. I'm going to make him pay by continually making him have to pretend that he isn't Heiji.
But the other thing is, she's like, I do need him to get that good luck charm, so that he will think that he now has the good luck to ask me out. And she's like, I can't say that, and I can't ask him out. And it's like, you can ask him out. It's fine. But yeah, she's kind of going with his plan by pretending to go like, that's definitely not him. I don't know how he's changing his voice, but that's definitely him.
Just going like this, I suppose.
And it turns out they figure out that the murder weapon was not the pole. It was, in fact, a bucket of frozen ice.
I was hoping it was like the thing of like grabbed an icicle and they bait his head in, and it's like if you stab someone with an icicle, you then melt the murder weapon, that kind of thing. But no,
never know.
It was
a bucket. That's the thing they always look for first, so to try and find any anybody who works at like one of those ice factories.
So at the top of the stairs there was a tap, like for I guess washing the shrine stairs and that kind of thing. But there was a bucket on one of the snowmen's heads. So I was right about the snowman's hat. I knew that was a thing because they kept focusing on them snowmen. But it was actually like the snowman's hat is filled with an entire block of ice, which they used to brain the guy and knock him back down the stairs. And then they were like, I better make it look like I did it with a pole. So I'll shoot one of these poles out. Did they say what they did with the pole in it? I think they just put it in with the other poles to make it look like to make it look like they ran with the murder weapon, and then left the flag there as it's just like, oh, that I clearly used the pole for this. And I was like, why did you need to disguise that it was a bucket of ice? I don't understand that part.
Well, no, because it was a bucket of ice. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess just didn't want to connect it. They wanted.
It was just going that way.
Yeah, it wasn't so much they wanted to disguise that it was a bucket of ice. They wanted to make them think that it was the flagpole.
Oh, because then they would have taken the flagpole with them, and then that means they're not at the murder scene. Whereas our murderer couldn't have had the alibi of not being at the murder scene because turns out she was like very much so like already caught. So that's the dealio.
Yes, and also
and also the other guys are left-handed. That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. Yeah, they're left-handed. They provoked them both. Well, one they noticed because he pushed his glasses up with his left hand, and the other guy they provoked into.
He took up a southpaw boxing stance. Yeah.
Yes, and clearly the cop had never learned the double loop trick, and so.
I like that it's basically like the thing is the mystery is solved by people's handedness and also fun with knots.
Yes.
That kind of fun with string, I guess. Like, and you can do this at home with your own pair of handcuffs if you got one. That kind of it's just like, oh yeah, that is a thing you can do, where she looped the bicycle lock in and around inside her handcuff to basically take her off it, like try and run away, brain the guy, then go, oh shit. He's probably already called in that I've been caught, so I better have still been caught and make it look like whoever killed him ran the fuck away. So that was the reason why. Yeah.
Well, was she handcuffed at that point? I thought she took his handcuffs and handcuffed herself. No, he did loop her.
No, she was already handcuffed at that point, and he was called away to take care of the other fight at the where the hit and run guy was fighting. I
think she was only trying
also at the end of the stairs there was a police box. And the only reason it was probably empty is because those police were called to that other fight. So,
she was only trying to escape at that point, but he was chasing after her, and so she grabbed that and swung at him. Because it wasn't like a premeditated murder. It was just like,
no,
he's going to catch me again, wallop. Oh dear, I've murdered him. And then Heiji goes into like a very preachy speech. And then Conan's giving him the side eye. Like, how can you say all these things about deceiving people when you've got a mask on and using a fake voice to deceive your girlfriend? Which was very funny because that speech was very holier than thou, and it was a bit cringeworthy. And then I was like, oh, that's deliberate. Yeah, Conan is getting to be the little jerk and say, come off it, Heiji.
I mean, like, he's also in disguise, to be fair, but yeah.
Yes, not by choice.
Didn't have a choice in the matter at all. So that's what he tells himself anyway. That's why it's okay for him to do it to other people.
And speaking of his terrible disguise, Heiji kind of goes up to him and is like, hey, I was thinking about that thing you said about really dumb fucking pseudonyms. I know a guy with a dumb pseudonym. You, Conan. That's a stupid name that you got. Also, there's this other guy whose name is a pun on Kaido Kid. If you anagram the names of. And Conan's like, an anagram, of course. Perhaps that's what how he's hiding his name.
Yes, that is probably what's going to be. I guess you'll eventually figure it. But is he hiding his name? Is he hiding his name in a way to suggest rum, or is he hiding his name to hide his real name, of which they don't know his real name anyway? So
yeah,
it's not going to help. But it might help with the other mystery. So this may lead him in the wrong direction to thinking the teacher's rum still because of her name being an anagram of, or the rum part being related to the Asuka rum clue that's connected to those shogi pieces.
Yeah, she's still connected in some regards. So while it might lead them down the wrong track, it'll still solve some other long-running thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Good fun mystery. The fun stuff was very much the culprit Hanazawa type stuff of like all these criminals committing crimes against themselves.
I like the relationship stuff as well. He gets found out when that very same celebrity he was pretending to be shows up at the shrine.
And then they point out, oh, he sounds nothing like that celebrity.
So we know that she's pretending that he sounds like that celebrity. It's just like, okay.
Then we got more detectives in Golden Kamuy, episode 47, but not until the end of the episode. The big detective stuff's next week.
Oh yeah, this
I
episode
mean-
we've all been waiting for.
It's the world's worst detective does find some loose change in this episode, so that's pretty good, right?
But mostly we're on a steamship with the good guys, and then it is raided by a pirate. He wants to hand over all your what do you know? It's the very pirate we're looking for.
Hey, small world, huh?
So they're going to hit this steamship because they need to make a bit of a walking around money to get this whole finding the gold while not using the tattoos plan.
Yeah, I love the whole fucking process of that because like they've done this fucking whole same heist like a dozen times or more. It's funny, he knows the whole deal from getting someone like that, and that's the move he does from pulls out the revolver, but he takes the cylinder out and blows out the actual barrel
water
of it.
full of it.
That's
Yeah.
fucking saying I've done this thing before. He's even saying, "Oh, he bribed somebody fucking I-News to try and get some more clues to where the goal might have been hidden." His probably just hit up to see on the way back. Like this is like him going to the fucking ATM to get a deposit out. It's whole routine for him. I was like how this is how fucking embedded in it is,
The unfortunate thing of him, he's been doing this so much that the steamship driver, it's another fun steamship captain where he's just like, is this one of those motherfuckers trying to rob the steamship? Ram them, boys! Because they're just in rowboats trying to call over a steamship, and unfortunately he didn't count on the pirate Botaro being able to swim to the ship in order to commandeer it.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of these steamship captains are probably like ex-Navy men who are gonna
Probably, some regard, yeah.
don't have time for any of this nonsense.
I'm in a big boat. They're in small boats. They can't stop me. But him swimming over with a gun is like, all right, yeah, fair enough. But the pirates didn't count on a military steamship like happening to pass by at that time. It was like, okay, everyone stay cool. And unfortunately, Dirty Harry is a postman in this one. So
the mail always gets through.
I love the commentator basically saying it's like, this guy has carried a gun as a mailman for 30 years, and mailmen carried guns in these times, and he's never got a chance to use it, so he's fucking raring at the bit to fucking shoot someone. He's not gonna retire as a postman without shooting someone first. That's very important to him.
Yeah, there's a recurring bit on the boat of people just being thrown overboard for their own safety.
And also of the mailman missing everyone he shoots, but there is a sniper back on the with the I don't know what you call the train that you carry behind.
Yeah, he's from there. He gets fucking like kind of cut loose, and zero credit for all of the sweet headshots he's getting. The postman's getting.
I mean, it happens when you're the sniper, and also you happen to be mute, so you don't, and also you possibly don't speak Japanese anyway, so you don't get to take credit for all the cool kills that you get. Yeah,
it doesn't go that way at first, because Botaro says, "Hey, Shiraishi, fucking get out of prison, man. How's it going?"
Are you looking for the gold the same way I'm looking for the gold? Fucking small world, man.
And Sugimoto was behind us, saying, "Sugimoto, put the bayonet away. Come on, we're all pals here." Oh, Jesus. I defuse the situation. The shots start flying, and Botaro is like, fun saying, "I'm not going to have anybody fucking harming my citizens of my country. These are my boys." Whips out the anchor as it's fun to smash in underneath it, trying to take out the postman.
Not before ramming his steamship into the military steamships. What do you call those things on the side of them? Propellers? That's not the right word. The roundy wheel bit. The wheelhouse, I think.
The paddles.
Paddles, that's the word. To slow them down. But yeah, him swinging around the anchor is like, he's keeping the pirate theme. I like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. He's got a reputation to maintain after all.
Before we get to all this, though, there is the detective bit, which is they're trying to find out about a tattooed man. There was a strange tattooed peddler, they're told.
Oh, that like that guy was giving me like bad vibes. Like there was bad vibes all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
But that guy was real creepy.
I
Like,
think it was rendered. It came across a lot creepier in the comic. You know, the tone feels like too light for what I do. Good fun and say he's gonna murder that little tubby child. You know, he's gonna bring him out back and just gonna like gut him like a fish. But that's not what he's after though. He's not after one like killing anybody because it's kid. It's fun saying no. You want to see the disappointment in their little faces when things don't pan out the way they expected to.
But their detective work is fantastic. So Shiraishi and Sugimoto going around being the most suspicious men in town, despite that weird candy seller. It's like, hey, Mr. Candyman, if I give you $5 for candy, will you show me your nipples? And guy's like I give you candy anyway, so you just show me your nipples for free. Get the fuck out of here.
Why not worth more than that?
Shiraishi accidentally spilling water on a guy. He's like, oh my god, you're fucking soaked through. Come on, I'll get you undressed. And it's like, hey, these two guys are being creeps. Get them, everyone. They're like, oh shit. It's amazing how bad they are at this. And the most successful thing they do is Shiraishi appearing as It from the movie It in a sewer to a child. And going like, hey kid, you see anyone with weird tattoos? Yeah, there's a guy over there. And he's like, oh what? Fucking can't believe that plan worked. Fuck
I suppose if you're going to like bring a child killer into this as well, you know, but let's go on in on the homage version, but this is the kind of atmosphere we're trying to bring in. I know fun. You always funny got weird tattoos, fun saying, yep, sure do. And he just fucking completely festoon his face and say, "Oh, okay, Jesus."
You like him? I did it myself, and it's just like, why did you tattoo creepy across your forehead? That's weird.
Anyways, I gotta be going now. You know, from trains of fun coming in down. I tried to telephone saying, "You never find the gold. I'm out of here."
Yeah, and they're kind of like, "Hey, Serpa, are you sure he said you'll never find the gold?" It's like, I think so. I don't think it was just train noise that happened to sound like you'll never find the gold, but and they're like,
That ties back to what we get at the end of the episode with Motaro's flashback, where he meets two characters who we've not seen in the TV show because they're on the OVA. I think it's just the Yakuza boss who's got the tattoos.
Yakuza boss.
No, both of them are in it. The princess is also in it. Yeah.
Sorry, princess.
Yeah. Oh, right, the man he calls princess.
Yes.
Okay. Did we get another name? I only remember him as princess.
Yes, I know, but I was going. He doesn't have tattoos though, does he? He makes him after.
He's got regular Yakuza tattoos, not prisoner tattoos. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so he's pointing out to Motaro is like, I'm not going to look for the gold because there's all these things could happen to the criminals who've got the tattoos. There's a high chance that the map to the treasure is ruined already, even before I start looking for it.
These are like we've seen the prisoners. They're not the most stable fellows, and they get in very dangerous situations which would destroy their skin.
They're also very, very tough, so they're more likely to survive. So no one can really say whether it's a good or a bad plan.
But trying to get all the pieces of this puzzle seems very unlikely, which is why Botaro's come up with Plan B. Figure out where he took it and then search that general area. Like, he will have hidden it pretty well, but it's better than trying to look for all the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, but sure, I guess Shiraishi gotta give him credit for that one, saying, yeah, he is can be considered this possibility himself. He's a fucking bumbling fool, but as pointed out, he is a master escape artist, so he's done at least some things in his life correctly and right and logically.
Yeah, and then once Motaro has, then we get some. Then it goes into Sugimoto's background. Is it after that?
Yes, because fun Botaro, you're a real motherfucker, right? Fun saying, hey man, but fun. You don't even know me, man. Fun saying, I'm doing this because I want to fun power my own country. Fun saying, yeah, it sounds dumb. Is it? I lost my whole family, man. I mean, you wouldn't know about it. I bet I lost them all fucking to the fun saying, actually, I do know that feeling, man. I lost man of tuberculosis. Fun saying, well, now you know what I feel is, man. My fun was what you would do to kind of hang on to me back, and it goes back to fun saying his father, I suppose. Is that fun saying?
Yeah, that's
Sugimoto. You gotta live on. You gotta get out of here. You gotta survive this.
you got to get out of this without like most people in the village have contracted TB, and it says like you get out and live, and he's like, I can't bring myself to leave. I'll just be immortal instead. That's when he decided to be.
Yeah. There's like this conjured up this tapped into this well of willpower within himself that would put everything on the line, body and soul, to see anything through.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it manages to get him see lots of people die around him. Is the bad part of that? Yeah.
Yeah. But goes to the passengers and say, as an apology, I won't take all your valuables. I'm just going to take the post. And then he spots.
It's insured anyway.
Yes, the little wooden keepsake in our hero's bags. And he catches his eye. That's where we leave it.
So he knows where they got on the plan for the same plan that he's on, I guess. Yeah.
Well, he will do next week.
Yeah, he will do. Yeah.
I guess Sugimoto taking an anchor to the skull is probably the one of the most recent surviving near deaths that I think he's managed to do in this part of the season.
It's funny as well because like his gun gets knocked out of his hands like immediately, because otherwise he'd just murder everyone, right? So we need to. It's like we need to take Luffy out of the fight for a little bit. We need to take Sugimoto's gun away so he can't just kill everyone, kill his way out of the situation.
We're still getting the bayonet out and doing fucking some CQC fucking action with it.
Yeah.
The other point of information is Hijikata's gang are going to dress up like peddlers again.
Yep. Again, episode we've all been waiting for. Ogata, you gotta get in disguise too. Come on.
Oh fuck! Is this the episode? Yeah, no, it was this episode. Ogata smiled. It was really fucking weird. I don't like seeing him smile. It's wrong, man.
That means he wants something.
He wants to get he wants to get Vasily, doesn't he? That's his main motivation, seemingly. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, he's the wild card. We have this vague sense of why he's there, but does he even know why he's still there? I think fun even getting Vasily is just like fun.
Because that'd be fun for him.
It's like getting his pride back because of saying, I'm a one-eyed sniper right now. I haven't got my skill back just yet, but if I can get my aim back and take him out, then I know I'm back to where I was and then some.
Then we got Tengoku Daimakyo, Heavenly Delusion, episode 11. The test begins, in which an awful lot of the plot is revealed.
This is the most uncomfortable show. Like, it's difficult, man. I'm just wincing a lot, like from things happening and from like implied things happening. It's just don't.
You think you've got intrusive thoughts, and what about you seeing your friends eaten by monsters at some point in the future that might be 10 seconds from now or 10 years from now? Just go away, keep out, get away, Satan. I'm trying to get on with my life.
So, the director is... We're not entirely clear what the plan is. The plan, definitely for her, is to get an immortal body.
The plan is absolutely... I put her as assistant director because she'll take over for me after I've put my brain in her head, basically. Seems to be what she's implying. And when your man's like, isn't that playing God? It's like, God? I am God. Like, she has like an evil speech nearly, but not one that's been rehearsed.
It is our job to make heaven on earth here. So we don't have heaven on earth. That would then imply there's got to be some God involved, right? But we're the gods now, baby. We're calling the shots in this monkey farm. She's well into this. Like she's talking about one brain swapping like it's no one big thing for and saying she's it's it's kind of some of the kind of like the character design has kind of got this Kazuhiro Otomo-esque kind of thing to it.
Yeah,
I found particularly when she's just completely kind of wheezing and choking on her own fucking or on her own flame. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of that Weasley dude in Akira. Walter was trying to fucking plot and scheme to save his own skin.
Yes. So her original plan was like, I might die before one of these is 15, isn't it? That's the
do the
brain transplant.
She likes this new plan of, wait a minute, this child of the children is actually a really good fucking idea, actually. But I guess I won't see any more of those because your man's like, it'll take like 15 years. And like, oh, you're going to say I'll be dead by then because I'll be 95, huh? Well, we'll fucking see about that, won't we?
Yeah, well, that one's valuable because it's just like, well, there's always a chance it could set up into whatever disease this is.
But this is a backup
This is something we
plan,
never planned for, never expected.
Hmm.
Babies having babies are never fun, but I had anything in the manual about that. This could be a 1 in a million shot of like propagating the human race again.
But there's also a reference to preparing the combatants in this discussion.
Yeah, and it's like we've prepared the ray guns or whatever the fuck she calls them, and I was just like, I'm not sure this happens after the apocalypse. This might have happened during or just after or something.
There's definitely been like the downfall of society because they say
something's gone wrong.
Laws, morals, for those things have went away years ago, my friend.
Yeah, she's basically like when he's like, well, we can't do this, and she's like, well, who's going to stop us? The UN doesn't fucking exist. God, I am God, basically.
Well, I'm not sure because I'm not sure. So that there's multiple plans going on here.
Yeah, there are.
So her central plan is, we're making immortal bodies. I'm going to be put into, initially, I'm going to put into this woman I've just promoted to assistant director.
And so I'll still be the director.
I'm going to wait it out. And so this baby is 15 and then I'll go into the baby. Meanwhile, combatants are going to be equipped with these guns. Now, we're not sure if this is the children or somebody else to kill these children. Because there's also lots of talk of opening up heaven. So when the director's
opening up the outside,
So when the director's disappeared, the assistant director is conspiring with the scientist as to say, well, while she's not here, we should open up heaven and proceed with the plan. Now, whether that's to let people in or let people out, we don't know. But we are sure that the computer, which may just be some sort of eldritch horror they've dug up at some point, because they talk about how the children have been born. This is the first children not born from the computer's name. Is then it tells the children their real name of what they are, which makes some of the children at the end go, "Oh, that's really thrilled me knowing by calling me by that name." I feel like
felt right, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just like, you know, this fit, this slot in place for me. And that name was Hiruko, which is the thing for the man eaters. And
that didn't feel good.
and there is a child there, Mimihime, who. Now we kind of see the full acting for and say, "Oh, you do have a weird ear thing. That's for your name."
I like that her ears are revealed. Her what was his name? The guy with horse's ears. King Lobred. You know, your classical thing of like donkey ears, horse ears. Anyway, it's revealed to us not by her ears going up and down as they do various times in the episode. It's revealed by one of the smaller, newer children riding her like a donkey. And pulling on her ears. I was like, what a weird way to reveal that about the character. But all right, you do you, Sean.
Yeah.
Also, more importantly, one of the other small children, though, has the power. It's exactly the same power that the monster in the basement
make you hallucinate a horrible death for yourself. Yeah.
The thing you fear the most.
It's like, hey, Taba, why are you sitting over here just playing the fucking what's it called?
The recorder.
A melodian.
No.
Yes. I think it's an M.
Something like that.
Something like that. But said, "Oh, the other kids don't like me because they think I'm annoying. Why are you annoying? Check it out."
She takes her glasses off to wipe her tears away because the kid's crying, and her eyes glow. And then she sees the walls open up,
off the wall,
and all the syringes that stab into her and drills.
Circular saws.
Oh God, I didn't need to see that. But she wakes up perfectly fine in hospital, if a little more traumatized than when she went in there. And she meets the other guy there. The what's his name? The guy who draws. Yeah, the guy who draws people. And he's like, "Hey, are you sick?" And he's like, "No, I've just synced up with the girl who's been taken away."
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, is she sick?" "No, she's fine." And it's just like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go back to my room now because she's explaining her thing of, I can see visions of stuff that will happen, but not when it will happen. I'm not very good at that." And she's seeing a huge monster looming over his bed, like blood or some kind of fucking viscera, dripping across the floor.
I think the implication he's the monster because the monster is talking with his voice.
That's the thing. Yeah. That, like, she's seeing that instead of him, and she's just like, go away, go away. Okay, the vision's gone. Whew, everything's fine now. Yeah, sure.
Does the same for the small child when saying, "See, it's not so bad. I'll be your friend."
She basically takes off the glasses, like gets the full like stabbing again. It's just like it's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Okay, I'm okay.
I'll be gone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the scientist, the doctor, he has cloned the baby.
Like, I was wondering, did he clone the baby or did she have two babies? That was the other thing I was thinking. I know he's literally called the other one Thing 2, basically.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah. I thought, well, either way, you got two of them. Well, one more than we expected is in the mix. So.
Well,
also,
I mean, like, if it's your man as a kid, there is going to be another person there who looks exactly like him. Yes. Which is, the thing he's looking for.
And now you know what the director's plan is. Then the idea of, here, take this, and was it syringe he's got to inject the other one of them? Is that the thing he's got to do? Maru's mission.
You gotta. It's something like you gotta inject the other person who looks like you, and
good. Jesus, forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I assume whoever's set him on that mission is to kill the director, because I assume the director is running around in the other one of him.
The other thing I was thinking is, is that syringe, right? The director. This is whatever DNA reprogramming to make that person into the director. Inject that into the person, and then that'll be the director. I was like, he could be fulfilling the plan rather than solving the plan. Like, we don't know. There's too many unknowns.
But then why don't you just tell him to inject it into himself?
Because he's the copy, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, but it draws this whole other kind of link then to the main story. Like, because whatever it's about kind of Maru saying, is he someone who escaped from the facility? Oh no, he's actually a child. Somebody was in the facility by lots of things. But then it gets around to, they're just talking about swapping brains. I guess getting your wisdom teeth out in here. It's a very fucking routine thing. So what happened to you? How did that happen to you then on this side thing? So Kiriko is is like the fun tied into this in some way or for that, and certainly the little bit we get in the modern day, they're again on the road, just like find a place to camp out. But she spoke off in the distance, and there's some kind of facility. We'll check it out tomorrow. And who's walking around us? It's our old pal Robin. We've been looking for you, buddy. What you doing in there?
Yeah, and are you still you? Is the other fucking thing?
Yeah, and also it's active and. Fumes are coming out of it.
They're doing things there.
Yes.
They've got enough lights for the smoke coming out of it to be seen at night. So
I think then that you see that, and then it cuts to the past with the tech guys wondering exactly what's happening.
That fucking computer, man, it's sitting in the room, not doing anything, just watching everyone do shit. I hate it. It's sitting in its giant fucking chair, holding its vastly swollen, pregnant looking fucking belly. I hate it. It's giving the technicians orders of things to do, and they're like, do you know what we're making? No, I don't have a fucking clue.
Chief of engineering has no idea. It doesn't trouble me in the least. But building a better society. Yep, that's right.
The worst bit was them giving them instructions that they do not understand. I was just like, I hate this fucking computer. I fucking hate it so much.
Yes. And then at the end, someone appears to switch the power off.
It's framed on the fucking computer. This is after the computer has an impromptu class for the children that none of the facilities seem to be aware of. Everyone come to the swimming pool. You don't need to wear your swimsuits. Some of the kids, they weren't paying attention. They wore their swimsuits. And they're like, all right, the test is about to begin. It'll begin at any time. You need to find the outside of the outside, and first one to get there wins. All right? Go Team Hiroko. All right, I'll see you guys later.
The power going off, you don't know if it's the computer doing it or if it's the assistant director acting or whatever.
Trying to open the fucking doors.
But you do hear this noise of something getting chewed up or fucking dripped or fucking pumped through. This is like...
Don't like that.
As it fucking looms over, then the lights going out over the evil computer lady machine.
It's a flesh-crunching, flesh squelching noise, and it's like the subtitles can't possibly describe how bad it is. It's bad. I hate it. I hate that noise.
It's probably the Foley for that was like like a pot of pasta boiling over. Just like jump to the worst conclusion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Also, Maru is reading a very odd. You shouldn't be reading other apocalyptic stories in an apocalyptic story.
Yeah.
Like I was like when I was reading the title of that, I was like, "Oh shit, was that written after the apocalypse?" And then I saw SF on the background. I was like, "Oh, that's fine. It's a different."
No, it's a real.
It's probably light reading. It's alt reality.
No,
at that
it's
stage. Yeah.
It's a real world story. It's on the beach. Yeah. It's people in Australia waiting for the deadly radiation from a nuclear war that took place 2 years previously to reach their shores and kill them all.
The other bit
with the imagery of the smoke coming out the factory is
yeah, there's some interesting kind of things dropped here about like the timeline of events, because this probably kind of are in the modern day. I think it's been at least 15 years since when a child was born into there to where it is from now. But I think like the downfall of civilization happened, I think somewhere in the region about 10 years prior to where we're at with the facility or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean like that would account for your man's story of it. There was a war, and it's not like the war happened and then society fell. It's like that war could have taken a few fucking years, or whatever the disaster was, environmental collapse or war or any number of things, or fucking aliens. We don't fucking know at this stage.
It's just as well them saying like no, need like no about 15 years before we can do fucking like the brain transplant, transplant thing. If I'm saying well like what stage you did, but then you could have been doing this like under the table before the downfall of civilization either. We know you release a present thing when there was difficulty at offices, youth centers operating around the country. So
the other thing I was thinking was the doc who can clearly do brain surgery, he might be using a more basic form where literally scoop the brain out and pop it into a fresh scooped out brain, scooped out skull. And I was like, he moved that kid's brain into the girl he likes body, and I'm like, was that kid also from the facility? Are you keeping that kid alive for some fucking reason? That kind of fucking thing. Because there's a lot of fucking unknowns going on.
Yeah, so the vibe I'm getting is Scientology-esque fucking like center, like it seems quasi legitimate, but we're actually preparing to all going to go off and live on another planet, lads. Way. And this is the one that's happened to get it right when fucking the apocalypse struck. And saying, "Oh, okay, right." Good timing on our part.
Or the AI that you built to make better weapons for this world war we find ourselves in is deciding, fuck humans, I'm gonna make better ones, which could be the case as well.
Yeah, I think that's misleading information from what a little.
Oh yeah. We've been given a bunch of wrong information, or not exactly right information, which is enough to throw you off. Like
it's currently. The stuff at the academy is present day and pre-apocalypse.
Right.
So yeah, I think don't let that mislead you too much, because I think probably the test is the apocalypse.
Like a lot of like our main, I mean like not only the kids at the academy, but like our two main characters in the present day are children themselves and have a limited perspective on this because they don't remember the before times, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I suppose it also was the camera saying it was 2019. I'm thinking, well, the corner of the one of them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and zoom up and work in an episode like
that's true as well. Yeah.
Like at the most a few months previous. So yeah, I think when you compare the infrastructure they've got then compared to the infrastructure Maru and Kiriko have got, then I think don't think the apocalypse has happened yet in the past.
Yeah, but I get definitely more the kind of sense that I would say, like, if you imagine the kind of world outside has been, there's only like a very fragile semblance of like world unity out there, and it's about to fucking.
I feel like that's a commentary on our own current real world.
Yes.
Not yeah.
we feel like things are I think stable points saying they are very much not, and they're like careening towards a reckoning at hideous speed.
And also remember, this is the point of view of a woman who has apparently set up some sort of thing to create weird superpowered children in order to put human people's brains into. So I'm not entirely sure she's fully on the level of her point of view of the world.
Yeah, it's very well done. Like, besides a couple of jokes and stuff, the only positive thing in this episode, I think, was them living that sweet van life and wondering what to call their new van and that kind of thing.
And Maru spelling his name wrong again. I wonder if that is some sort of foreshadowing, if you know Japanese. Of what
it could be some kind of thing through that. Well, that, and they actually do the thing of, it's like, oh, if you read that like this, it looks like this is like our van or our vehicle number 19. But if you that makes it sound unreliable. But if you read it in Roman numerals,
yes, because Yuishi's name is essentially the code
11.
he was given as a man. Yes,
Yeah.
in the
But if you read it this way, it reads as our one number 2, which is perfect because we named the boat. That's the first one, and this van is the second vehicle that we have. So it's like reinterpreting of things is definitely a thing they're setting up. Yeah.
Then other apocalypses. Hell's Paradise, episode 10, Yin and Yang, in which the script is great. The animation a little bit more varied than the script, but the script is great. I really love the story of how all the different groups of characters are slowly working out what's going on the island.
Some of them have already touched upon the basic principle that governs this kind of life force we're all trying to tap into. They're kind of accounted in different ways. Naturally, Shion, the blind man, he's had fun, daredevil stuff going on since he's been blind. So he's kind of always been able to kind of perceive the waves of things.
Yes, because it's great how he's like, oh, you see him do it first, and he's like, I'm not powerful enough to fight these creatures. And then you see how the creatures behave, and they use exactly the same technique he uses. And you're like, oh man, Shion, don't be so hard on yourself. You're probably the one closest to being able to deal with these guys.
You got the biggest leg up on these that anyone else has.
Yeah, and being able to tap into this, able to do like fun superhuman, supernatural things, such as certain shinobi art. So they've also been unwittingly, or quasi-wittingly, kind of been trained up in this as well. It's just as was the way with at least Gabi Maru's village. They only will tell you what you know when you need to know it.
They're doing you up to the point of I did like the thing with Gabimaru and the old samurai dude, where they're both like doing, what do you call that thing where you're doing the battle in your mind?
Like visualizing the kind of fun battling in your mind, fun.
Okay, so if I rush you like this, I'll cut your fucking head off, but you'll cut my fucking torso in half. And they're like, what if we attack it? Like, and they keep visualizing different ways. Your man's like, all right, stop visualizing how you're gonna murder each other. Okay, cut that right the fuck out. I can see you doing it. Stop it. You're both badly injured. We should work together on this because we're both in a very dangerous situation. You there, small child. You there, teenage child. Can you explain the situation to us? And she tries her best.
Yes. Also, she's now suddenly grown older.
She has turned into like an older kid at the very least. Yeah.
Teen or preteen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she can talk barely.
I mean, she is technically explaining the concept of like yin and yang and like ebb and flow and back and forth, but she's using very limited speech. And Gabimaru like wants her to be more thing, and the big dumb guy is a big dumb guy, so he's not really going like.
But then it cuts to Hoka, the tree man, and the rest of the gang who are wandering through the fucking the old village of and said, "Oh yeah, this is Tao. It's kind of like like the two opposing life forces. It's like the male and the female, the yin and the yang. Fun, strong and weak, push and pull. And spot but find it's like kind of that circular motion of how one drives the other, and then it's also the space in between. No, it's a very simple principle on the bottom, but she has to go. Mind, strong, weak. Capiche?
Also, there's
body,
naval in there somewhere as well.
Yeah.
Because the naval bit's important, because then that leads to the Chobe bit, where Chobe figures that out for himself as well.
Because he's like, I chopped that motherfucker's head off and he didn't fucking die. I'm gonna guess his core is like in the middle, like a plant, because he's made of plants.
Not even guessing, because he's observed that he grew back from the lower part of his body. Not
Yeah,
his
it didn't
head.
grow like back from the head. He grew back from the body, so it's clearly something in the middle of his body, probably.
Yes.
And that's why I really like about him was that I kind of similarly designed like fucking Bakugo in My Hero Academia, for and saying this guy's just a fucking like a thug. He's just a fucking mindless vehicle, and saying no, actually Bakugo here, he's in top 10 in the marks in the class, and Shobe and saying you can just fucking analyze this thing and deduce it because he's put together however many heists in his banditry days. Like he's pretty clever.
As he's figuring out this, and his brother's like, "Wow, my big bro is so fucking smart. He's so cool and super keen." And then this priest shows up, is like, "All right, lads, do me a favor, right? Back in the hole, would you? You do me a solid if you went back in the hole and turned into flowers. Come on, in with you."
How about I punch you instead?
How about we test my new theory on this motherfucker right here?
And you see as well, fun. You seem unusually strong. Have you been perhaps consuming the Tao itself? And it's like, oh, he's just been like eating corpses that he's killed up to this point. So he's just been fucking dosing up on like on immortal flesh all this time.
He's also clearly also been eating humans inside the pit.
Yeah, because he rips off one of the hands. It's like, because the lads are explaining over tea, the flower people over. It's just like, well, yeah, I threw him in the pit, and there's no way getting out of the pit, because everyone who the pit is made of wants you to stay in the pit and become a flower like them. And so he's just like tearing off their hands and going like, wow, good eating on this one. And it's like, you want to eat some of this monster? And it's like, I don't know, bro. I think that's a dude's hand. It's like, it's probably a monster though. Nom nom nom.
Yes, it doesn't go well for them, but we do. The creature does explain that he is a doshi, and that's why he's intelligent. Unlike the was it the Soshin?
Soshi, which are the big giant freaks.
Yes,
they're not even let into the fucking what he says, the castle or the citadel or something like that.
Palace of Horai, the cycle of souls of death and rebirth.
And so like he's giving them so much information. It's like, okay, so there's a fucking inner bit that's a palace, and you're allowed in there, and the fucking main guys are in there. All right, cool. Like the priest is giving them all this information because they're not going to go back in the hole like he kindly asked them to do.
Yeah, but he's confident he can kill them because his arrogance as an immortal, melty-faced man.
Yes. Also, in the midst of all this, we get Senta realizing that this is not a real religion. It's like the same sort of scam religion that one of the criminals had been putting together on.
It's the kind of religion someone will put together from known quantities. Like, that's a religious thing. This is a religious thing. If I slap them together, I can make a cult. You know.
It was more pointing out. Yeah, we already kind of knew it's been kind of a hodgepodge of things. But the fun thing is, though, it didn't spring from any kind of one miracle or vision. It was all human-made influences. So it isn't like this came up kind of organically within a culture or a society. This is like very much kind of like one of the things. It means there was somebody who knew about all that who had an influence in doing this. So there's somebody over this whole opera, this whole monkey farm.
Yes. So yeah, they're not on a divine island. They're on some sort of island that's man-made.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I mean, they tried to spice up the unnecessary exposition scene by making it a sex scene from the Tensons again. But again, it's a conversation, which is why are they having this conversation at this point in time?
But that's important when they're discussing the whole how like you tap into like the Tao and the yin and yang of it. It says this, like, having that kind of Congress, is important to stimulate that kind of energy. So this will come up in explicit detail very soon.
And besides, for plot practical purposes, you need to keep the animators awake. There's a lot of conversations happening. If we draw two flower people fucking, you're gonna get a little bit extra animation in there. So that's probably necessary.
I think the writing's great when the characters are working the stuff out for themselves. But so far, it's 2 episodes in a row where the Tencent dialogue has felt like you'd have had this conversation many moons ago. Why are you having...
Maybe they're just very boring and they just have the same fucking conversations over and over as flower people. Yeah.
That in terms of writing, that's my only niggle. In terms of animation,
it's
kind
fair.
of rough looking. episode.
Yeah, well, again, maybe the stars has the opportunity to, you know, from there's going to be a lot of talking, and we're going to like, you know, try and just have a lot of long shots of them kind of walking along, and that'll be kind of it. But it is quite a good fun thing. It's kind of, it kind of all funnels down the kind of, you know, as they're kind of arriving at their conclusion points in the kind of.
And it's the different groups arriving at the similar conclusions, using very different methods, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even like newer guy as well, if I'm saying teach me sensitive and said no. But the monster's right here, so fun. If you want to watch and just like take notes, feel free. Okay.
If you want to watch while I'm explaining what I'm doing, I mean, like, I can't stop you. It's not a crime. And she's gonna like, is he teaching me anyway? Is he just a weirdo? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he's very much like saying, you must absolutely not do this, or this. I'm not going to teach you how to do these things. The best bit of animation is probably when she's attempting to attack him and his disarming her, and then also in that same disarming movement to put her sword back in the sheath.
This little.
To the side so it doesn't stab you, because usually in the normal circumstances I'd let that stab the person I'm disarming. Just for future reference, don't do that yourself. But I'm going to do it now. And we do have Gabby Mara and the lads getting attacked by the big monsters, not the, but there is one of the smart monsters hanging in the background watching. Yeah,
because we see that one first, and then we get an explanation of what they are later on. Like I said,
why is that one wearing a hat? Because it's a smart monster. If I was wearing a hat, to see that's how you can
keeps
tell
the
them
rain
apart.
off his head. Clever. I like the way the big guy kind of puts the child up on his shoulder, and he's like, "All right, small child, you teach me the secret of how to kill these monsters." It's like, she has barely functional language. I don't think you're going to learn anything that way, but all right, you do you, bud.
Yeah, I assume the others might get to them in the middle of this fight.
Yeah, they'll combine all the things that they've learned and actually fucking use it, I hope. Yeah.
Then we've got Chibi Godzilla Raids Again, season 1, episode 10, I guess.
10. Yeah, I think that's what's happened there.
Not season 110.
That was a different Crunchyroll problem, yeah.
Chibi Godzilla's second form, which Chibi Godzilla assumes a second form. It's great. He squirts blood out of himself.
Which scares people away. Godzilla pointing out, why is that a good thing? that seems bad.
So this is Shin Godzilla second form. I know it's got.
But the reason he's taken this form is because he slept funny on his neck. I think is the thing he kind of goes with, which is a great reason. And Ghidorah and Mothra show up, and they're just like, "Oh, you slept funny on your neck, did you?" And it's like, this happens every time he sleeps funny on his neck. It's like, yeah, it's like when you hit your knee and it goes purple. It's like, that's completely different. This is very different from that. So stretching his neck is the solution.
Yes.
Like in that movie, Shin Godzilla.
He starts to turn green, goes back to normal, and then bumps his knee, which there's been which was they were referencing previously, and now he's turned purple, making the third form of Shin Godzilla.
It's very good.
It's very daft, but it is fun seeing those designs in the Chibi Godzilla form because it's just
said it couldn't be done.
Then we got Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 23, Two Paths, in which our two old friends have a chat.
Friends?
Yeah, they'd be friends.
Yeah, I mean, there's a respect there.
Yeah, I get at the end. Yeah, I guess.
So,
well,
yeah.
if you're gonna make a fucking society, which it oppresses some people for the benefit of the many, but it still oppresses people, just gonna walk away. Because you're not the guy to do it. You're not the guy to do it. You're just gonna make the same mistakes as all the other ones. I'm just gonna go somewhere else. And if I come find you, I'll just keep running away and find somewhere else.
Well, no, he's more like he's not. He's saying what he's saying to Canute is, I don't know whether that will work, so I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
Because
I'm going to make a world that you don't save, that you're not going to save through your fucking thing.
Yeah, because I think you can kind of see it for what I'm saying. You think you're going to be kind of the smart one about this now, but you can kind of see you're going to make the same mistakes as all the rest of them. And he is right, because his fucking literal voice of his father funded, because it's the kingly thing to do with talking in his ear. And it's fucking Thorfinn's phone saying, I'm going to just fuck off him for saying he's kind of what? It just taps him off, it kind of brings him into phone saying, that's not in the rules. Who's this not in the rules? Why? I'm used to negotiating. Someone wants us, like, you know, to...
You know, they've got a plan.
They want something off of me. They want some kind of, like, to go, like, no, shank me in the back when it's suspected of that. But you're just going to say, come out to me, and they said, don't take the farm. And I said no. I said, and you're just going to walk away.
That was the extent of your plan. There wasn't anything, any kind of play you were just telling me the right thing to do. You just telling me like what would be the right thing to do in the situation. That was your entire plan. And Thorfinn was like, yeah, basically, like.
That kind of fun pulls the whole thing of fun. You gotta be a king, you gotta suspect everything, you gotta fun plan for every possible angle of fucking attack and that was it. But
whereas Thorfinn's just being entirely direct with no exterior motives. I don't have a second plan on this. I'm just gonna ask you to do the right thing. A
fairly earnest appeal to your better nature should it be there. That's literally all I want to do. That's really all I want to do. That's why I took 100 punches to the face and I'm all busted up like this. So that's why I came here just to ask.
And even the thing is like, if you're not going to listen, I guess I wasted my fucking time. Like, and he's what's the line that Canute has? It's something like, did you do that to your face just to berate me or something like that? Just like, did you get fucked up just to call me a motherfucker? And it's like, just, no, I'm just trying to fucking tell you what you should have done. And it's like, if you're not going to listen, I'm just going to fuck off. Like, that's my plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere, and you know, for like this thing you're gonna set up, it's going to like put some people down to say expensive bit. But for those people who are put down, who don't have a place in this I'm saying, I'll take care of them. All right.
And it's like, where are you gonna take them? It's like, I won't tell you, because my plan is basically for your, like, and Canoe points it out, it's like, so your plan is like a backup for like the failure or the parts of that my plan doesn't cover. And he's like,
that's right. So you better not fuck it up then.
Don't make more work for me, is the way he puts it, which I thought was really fucking like, turns around to the king after like walking out of this group of guys who are like, are we gonna have to kill this slave guy? And he's just like, don't fuck this up, Canute. All right, I gotta go.
If you're dead setting this, you better not be fucking right as well. I got to pick up other pieces of this. I'm gonna make that my duty to do it. Like.
We should say this though. The way you're saying it sounds like Thorfinn's threatening him. He's not saying it.
No,
he's not. He's
just my natural inclination to threaten people. Thorfinn's doing it very nicely.
Yes. Because also the important thing is before he said all this, we've had Canute look at him and go, "Oh, so thought Vikings can produce someone
that's
you,
good,
the sort of person I want Vikings to be. So therefore, I'm a little bit more confident that." My plan can work because
it produced Thorfinn while his plan wasn't in action.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
And as at the card trusted, as history tells us, he withdrew the Danish garrisons from England, and then the rebellion that was expected to happen should those garrisons have been removed didn't happen at all. And then for putting his trust again in the English nobility then to run things, they accepted his governance.
Yeah, it was the idea that, like, by reducing his army, like, he reduced it to 16 ships. And you see, like, 16 ships, which is a lot of ships, but, like, it's fuck all, like, just on the horizon kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, apparently if you're kind to people, they like it. That's another way of not controlling people, getting people to do what you want. It's like, don't fucking invade them. Stop invading them with armies. People not being invaded by armies.
My Lord Floki is very pissed. Then I'll be pissed. Fuck Floki.
Yeah.
And Wolf's like, oh, it's grand. There's another man who, aside from me, who believes in what you're doing now. So we've got allies, even if we may never see them again. We know that.
But they are helping, like Thorfinn said, I'm literally going to be picking up the pieces, but that your plan doesn't fucking cover. So it's like, that's our ally then. That's someone who's helping out with our plan, essentially.
Yeah. Also, we get the great bit in between this of just Thorgil showing up, expecting a battle, armed to the teeth.
He's brought all the
10
fucking
swords, strapped onto him. I'm ready to go. What happened?
They just fucking left. They didn't even take they didn't even pillage the farm. What the fuck?
Yes, because we just basically go from the conversation to Thorgil showing up and then being no army for him to fight, and then we see them retreating and Flocky going up. Well, reporting that Flocky's upset.
So like Thorfinn walks up to them, gets the shit kicked out of him, has a conversation, and like it completely ruins it for your man just like expecting a fight. It's like if you were here like half an hour earlier, like because you see the sun going down this entire conversation. It's like if you were here earlier, there would be loads of guys to fucking fight you. They were willing to fight Thorfinn for like 100 punches. So, but no, he's just slightly too late to the party.
No, but the toughest thing you can do is just fucking like get hit and just keep on walking. The following day or a day or two later, anyway, like Thorfinn arises from his like comfortable haystack and he walks up that hill.
They're still sleeping in the shed after all fucking that. Like,
and he walks up that hill and he's completely busted up. He walks up the hill. He's got something important to be. There's Ironhide. We have a nice gravesite for her looking over the cliff, and Einar is there. He's paying his respects. And he's saying, "What are we gonna do now, man? We going?" And saying, "Yeah, man, we're going. We're fucking going to do it, man." And it was this fun little thing, brother. And Fun says, Kyodai, brother Fun, you're gonna come with me, you're gonna fucking build this place. Fun saying, "That's right, man. Fucking I want to build a fun place for." I can tell. I didn't know what to say to Ironhide did in that moment. You know, Fun. Why should she Fun hang on to her life? There's nothing here for her. I want to create a place where I can say to anybody, "This is what's worth living for. This is what you know it's worth hanging on for and being alive for." I don't want to have that fun. Every place of fucking death is this constant fucking thing about that, and this fun calling each other brother. A fun thing. We're gonna do this, man. It's this real fucking affirmation of they've been through what they're gonna go on now.
It was this and one other episode this week that nearly made me cry. And it was the thing of like I want to make something so that I can tell someone who like death is the best possible option. They're just like, let me just fucking die because fuck this world. It's like I want to make something where I can tell them there's something better than dying in this world. There's something worth living for. And that's the thing I'm going to make. That's the plan. Yeah.
It's tapping into like, you know, between this and Planetes. It's just like, you know, this affirmation of the human spirit to want to progress, to move on, to make things better for what came before you, like that. It's just like not being held down by the past, but learning from it and just moving on and just like, you know, getting on to history to it. And then we get this sort of like a mega happy ending for everybody on Kettle's farm.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. I'll never forget you. I'll never forget being enslaved here for 4 years or whatever.
Well, to be fair, he had told Canute that thanked him for enslaving him because really he should have killed him based on pointing a sword at.
Yeah, no, it was the best case scenario for him in Viking times. Yeah.
I was trying to remember if we never see Canute's dad again.
Well, you see him on the porch. He's not looking well, understandably.
No, Canute's dead.
Apologies. Yes. Yeah.
I feel like we don't see him again after this point.
I think from this Canute retreat is fun, just chilled out a bit. You know, I think he needs to let that laugh off. Or he's been holding. I gotta be fucking like my dad all the time, and I'm the king.
The laugh is what breaks his dad goading him from beyond the grave.
It's a very sincere, kind of realistic, just uncontrolled kind of laughter where he's just like, "What the fuck? This is crazy."
Behind, he's just like he's trembling. Is he gonna fucking go nuts and just flip out? Or it's just like no, he's just like really fucking sputtering, like trying to hold in the laughter. And there's the thing is, I'd lighten it out as kind of hard and cold, but then he's like on the ship, all going home, look up at this lovely star sign, and the twinkles back in their phone, and say, it's like, yeah, everything's gonna be all right.
This is a good idea.
I'm not afraid anymore. You hear that? I'm not afraid anymore.
Yes, Painter survived. Snake.
Yay!
Snake tells them his real name as they're leaving.
Roald, son of Grimm. Thanks, Roald. You're a dude.
We got to go home and face the final boss. Thorfinn's big sister.
And fucking old Mar, he's fun saying, Thorfinn, thanks for coming through for us like that. I want to be just someone who's just like strong but kind like you are, fun saying. my friend, you already took the hardest step. You fucking decided to not fight when I don't have to, man. That's the hardest fight they ever had to make. One, you're already there, and then fucking he's out there. He's pushing the plow. He's fucking that's the farm girl. He was kind of half speed on. She's going right there with him because he's gonna stick by her and do right by him.
It's done very well because, like, basically, it's nearly mirrored between him and Canute, where Canute's like, "Fucking hell, Thorfinn's a beautiful man. Like, what an amazing person he's become." Whereas, and this guy's like, "I want to be just like you, Thorfinn," and Thorfinn's like, thank you." He doesn't quite know what to do with it, but he does say, "It's like, dude, you choosing not to fight, that took me 15 fucking years to figure out, and that was a bad time, let me tell you." But when you see him working the farm later, he's got all his hair untied. He's not dressed like a warrior. He looks more like a man. And I was just like, it's very well framed and everything like that.
It's just like, they've shown, like, you have this like Viking idea of honor and pride and that, like, but there's other ways you can just build up and like hold on to your full dignity, just to fucking just being like a stand up guy.
The bit with the guests now working the farm, and they're giving out to, it's like, "Hey boss, come on, you gotta fucking pick up the shovel." He's like, I'll show you how to fucking dig. Snake's the best digger there is." And you have the old guy who's still around, like, gripping he's got a hoe as well, but he's too old to be hoeing, but he's still there, and he's still like going like, "Yeah, fucking farming, that's the fucking way." And it repeats that whole carve it into your soil, carve it into the sea, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's very well done. Yeah.
And he's also telling that it's sunny. All the scenes at the farm are sunny, and the one time we cut to Thorgil, it's dark clouds, a dying tree.
Pissed.
Thorgil is living the old Viking fucking ways. Thorgil's a dinosaur, basically, like, on the way out.
I wonder if because I don't think we ever see him again. I wonder if we're supposed to, like, take that he's going Snake's path now. He's going to have to wander.
If he doesn't learn the thing Snake did, then he's either going to die or, like, figure out the thing Snake eventually did. Yeah.
Yes, he's going to have to. He's going to have to change his name, go somewhere else, lend his skills somewhere else, because he probably thinks he's in more trouble than he actually is, because he has no idea. Canute thinks, "Oh yeah, he's useful. We'll bring him back on board." Like I said, I don't think we ever see him again after this point.
Okay.
Because we've got new characters to focus on next season, whenever that shows up.
I wonder as well, like, is this with people going to Vinland Saga, and as we've like highlighted, there's one fun thing: when are they going to kill us? Start killing people, and then Thorgil is there on the beach. He's just like kind of emblematic of an influence, saying, "Hey, I thought I was gonna come here for a fucking slaughter, and it didn't turn up." So start talking like a bunch of wussies. Oh man.
Don't worry, there's somebody next season who'll like fighting even more. Well, it's assuming they don't slow everything even further down. But we never get to him. One more episode to go as they head back to Iceland.
Like, excellent fucking series so far. Like, really good. Like, it's such a change of pace, but it works so fucking well, I think.
After having watched the next episode and seen some responses to it, I think they made a mistake cutting so much humor out of it from the comic.
Fair enough. Okay. I can see why they would, but yeah.
I don't think we have a problem with it, but I can see it's like seeing some people bounce off the next episode, or two scenes in the next episode they bounce off, and I was like, I'm not sure they would have bounced off so badly if there was humor running through.
Well, the thing is, like, no, it was like really hitting a lot of fun, like, dramatic peaks in there, and while it was a kind of bummer to fucking get through and be in those feelings, it wouldn't have felt right to kind of break that streak, get off that roll, because it's like,
I think they'd be fine, because that's why I like Heavenly Delusion so much, because of its sheer jarring leaps of tone from slapstick comedy to
it's a difficult
circular saw.
It's a difficult line to do, because while that makes them seem more human, even in the apocalypse, they still make jokes and act like goobers. Like in this case, they obviously want to go the serious fucking line. And I feel like it works better like in the comic because like you're doing issue to issue, whereas like in the show you're compiling several lets, which means you probably have too many jokes per episode in comparison to all the serious stuff you're trying to. The serious tone you're trying to set.
It's more funny faces is what's missing.
Okay.
But it's to get really gnarly hands, you know, these are the hands of a working person, like a lump of wood.
I think we were shortchanged on a lot of Einar's funny faces. Like I said, my feeling was they wanted to leave it out till Bug Eyes showed up, because the humour does start well once Bug Eyes is there. But anyway, more on that next week when there is some definite comedy scenes.
I suppose something like Golden Kamuy gets a balance like more right because fun. Here is some historical detail and tension and plot. Here is some like fun fucking around with like eating squirrel brains, and here is also like a dude getting his face carved open with a bayonet. Fun for all the family.
Next season, I also feel like next season they can go a bit faster because there's nothing where they're going to be so tempted to make everything elegiac as it was in this season.
Okay.
Because the focus changes. But more on that next week. Because the change of focus starts next week. Then we got the MARGINAL Service. Talking of change of focus, you're always not there when I want to hit you. As the plot shows up. As we finally learn why Zeno is such a terrible cop.
He was always a terrible cop.
That tracks.
So there's been a kidnapped child. It resembles some child kidnappings from, was it 10 years ago? One of which
10 years ago.
Like some serial child kidnappings, basically,
yes. And he tried to find the child. He could not find his kid. His wife committed suicide. I must point guns at every suspect and demand that they answer my questions. Meanwhile, Brian's like, this is not the way. You should not be doing detective work this way, Zeno. And Zeno's like, no, I must do it this way, so I'm going to drug half my colleagues so they can't pursue me in my gung-ho terrorism of our one suspect.
Because they've caught the harpy woman from before who.
Yeah, so essentially the thing is they think it's Borderlander terrorists because there's been a note to basically threaten the parent of the child who's supposed to be signing through this new immigration law, which will be harsh towards Borderlanders, which has a very real world reflection, which was just voted through in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, like to be fair, that there's that kind of thing in a lot of places, but yeah, this is literally talking about Japanese politics regarding immigration. Yeah,
weeks of this episode. There's a really probably the best bit of writing in this entire series is where The Rock and Jason Statham point out to Brian, you're complaining to Brian about Zeno, but think about all the things you do to Peck. You're unconsciously being racist towards him.
Just because he's immortal, you're treating him like he's immortal. That's yeah. I mean, he is. Like, you literally used him as a bulletproof vest. You fed him to a shark. That was your idea.
Yeah, because it makes it easy to kind of forget sometimes is that the fun. Like, Brian, you're an immigrant as well, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, you're empathetic to this type of thing, so you're not an immigrant on the same standing as these ones, so...
Yeah, and you could do the comparison between like immigration and illegal immigration. Like it's kind of like the difference there, or like immigration of certain races which are treated less well, that kind of thing. Yeah.
They've been seeing this flying Borderlander, who turns out to be the one flying Borderlander we met, but they connect it to Mexico mythology. That's where.
Where the drugs are from, South America.
Yes, it must be peyote then. It must be peyote, which is what is in the drug that rubber suit is.
And that Zeno drugs them with in the cheese so that they can be free to brutalize a prisoner while they're doped up unconscious.
So
I did like your man Bold kind of going like, I should have drank a protein shake, you know, like.
And by brutalize, send a massively guilt trip her by taking her to.
Oh, what's brutal? All right, yeah.
His house.
Yeah. I mean, like under gunpoint, but it's just like, yeah, see this used to be my house. That's where my wife fucking overdosed herself on pills because I couldn't find the fucking our child who'd been kidnapped, huh? Feel bad now, you bastard.
I kept calling him shrimp. I kept calling him shrimp, but God, if I go there and call him shrimp, he'd still be here.
Yeah, it's a silly regret, but it's the idea that like that's the one day you didn't kiss your wife goodbye or something like that, like, and that's the day that she got killed. It's that kind of situation, but he feels guilt over it. It's like, dude, that's not your fault. And
yes, but also
was
she
just-
says they're not. What does she say? They're not God, or you can still. Beat
you
them?
can still save them, or they're
Yeah.
still here, or something like that.
So-
Yeah, yeah.
Some indication that possibly, yeah, whether she's talking about all the children or also his seemingly dead wife, we
Hmm.
don't know because that's his question at the end of the episode. But it turns out that, in fact, this is not whoever kidnapped his child. It is somebody else who had their child kidnapped.
In the same spate of kidnapping 10 years ago.
Yes.
Who just had a comments about the whole thing, and
She was the was she the
maid.
nanny or the maid?
She was the maid in the household of the D8 politician as well. So made a child disappear into the attic.
Because basically they didn't come back home for the child's birthday, so it's just the child and the maid going like "Happy birthday to you," and just like this sucks. And I was like, "Hey,
I
kid,
wanted to feel
want
the
me to
pain
help
I
fake your
felt having
kidnapping
a
to me?"
child gone, and just said the having people passing by going, "Oh, doing my regular surveillance of this politician's home, I see if we can get some dirt on him." A kidnapping, seeing the child in the attic. This is too good to pass up. You can see where I'm coming from, right? Come on.
So the kid was perfectly safe, like in the attic, just reading comics and shit, like just skiving off school basically. And the Harpy was just like, "Cool, I'll get better rights for Borderlanders, and no one gets hurt." It's the perfect fucking plan.
One child was found dead ground. I've only up there for 4 or 5 days, I think.
I think when they went up into the attic, he went like, "Where's whatever the maid's name is?" Because it's like I assume she was coming up with supplies or to remove the bin bag full of poop. I would assume that are up there.
Or he's coming down to use the toilet when the parents are out.
Yeah, he might be just going at night. Yeah,
It's a fun game we play.
We should also say this is not a confession. This is what Brian and the other members of the Marginal Service have done: actual detective work, as opposed to just pointing a gun at somebody.
Because they were questioning the maid is like, "Hang on, you fucking bits about your story don't follow through," and they looked into her background. It's like, "Oh, you had a child kidnapped, so you faked it to look like the same kind of kidnapping by drawing the symbol on the wall, that kind of thing." And she's like, "Yeah, you got me," that kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's all solved. The Harpy says, "Yeah, I was involved, so I guess I've committed a crime as well." And we expect her to be going to jail, but we just see her walking back to her house with Zeno, who pulls a gun on her again and wants to know what you were talking about. Being able to meet my kid again. That's where we leave it. Zeno is why he's employed in this job. I do not know. Is it just because he would be more dangerous if he wasn't under their supervision?
If
he was going rogue, yeah, I guess that would be worse. Yeah.
You'd fun pursue the suspect so hard in the old case, and then fucking chase him in the street where he got hit by a car, which happens to him again pretty much. He chases the Harpy in the street, and she gets hit by a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's driving the car this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly a traumatized man who should not be working any sort of case. But yeah, I guess he would just be in prison otherwise.
Yeah, very much so. For the many, many crimes he's done.
Afraid a man named Zeno would be so xenophobic.
Phobic is his middle name.
Yeah. Nothing hinting towards aliens in this. I guess but I feel where that's.
I mean, like, I think the hinting towards aliens was they were initially saying it was a flying humanoid who did the kidnapping.
Yes.
And obviously, like, Harpy, that's a flying humanoid, that kind of thing, yeah.
So it might be a flying saucer rather than that. And also the symbol looks like a comet. So
yeah. And that's what fell down when the kid was kidnapped, etc. Yeah.
Then we've got Dr. Stone, A New World, episode 11, with the fist, a miracle. Is this the other one where you were about to break into tears?
Yeah, that's it. That's this one.
Yeah.
Dear.
I think this is this the last of flashback to the dad?
I mean, it's the last fucking thing he does, so probably.
There's probably someone crossed over there with remembering about going into space when they get around to that.
Oh,
You could
yes,
be right. Yeah, I think you're
But
right.
this is a big one.
Yeah, sure.
So we found the capsule. Got to get into the capsule. How are we going to do that? We're going to blow it up.
We'll use a silent bomb. And he's like, yeah, like a thing a kid would come up with. Come on, be serious, Senku. He's like, no, we're going to use a silent bomb. But and they're like, fucking.
Uses controlled demolitions, in
residential areas,
neighborhoods, to that. It's basically it's like expanding plaster. So you just drill it into a bunch of holes, and then it'll just expand, and between all the holes, you'll fracture the rock.
But the problem is trying to because Kaku last time she said I had to smash into a bunch of concrete. I could just smash it open. We've got to do this on the quiet. But still, drilling holes into a giant fucking thing of concrete is very noisy, so they have to have the backup plan of distract the guards with sexiness. Basically, is the plan.
What dance can you do? Oh, I know they got that before. And say, spears for turn. Oh, you can do the spear dance. That's right. Because I knew, I got a bit of guard at the gate. Then they have fight it by just look intimidating enough to do enough cool, fancy moves, and they'll never question how good you are.
Which he said, like I like her pointing out, is like, you're saying that like it's a cool guy thing. It's very not cool what you've just told me.
So for Kohaku, managed to drill enough holes. They send the chemicals via multiple rats to her. They give her instructions. She fills in the holes with the 2 test tubes. Then you hammer in a seal that breaks the 2
like
tubes.
A plug. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the plaster expands. Then come back later, and then just with a small kick, you'll be able to break in. And she does. But the bottle inside is broken, and the bottle.
Well, I loved her freaking out. It's like, I hope I don't break the thing inside.
Oh shit!
I did break the thing inside. It's just fucking sand. Wait, sand can be useful. I've learned this about science. Yes. I'm gonna fill my dress up with sand and run because the guards are coming now that they've heard a giant rock crack underneath the big tree.
And they do find it, and then they find this strange non-cold ice again, like on the boat.
What is this?
Because initially the guards aren't worried about it. It's like, well, did you hear any fucking hammering? Because the rock probably just broke on its own. Rocks break sometimes, man. It's like, but there is this hard, not cold ice.
Yes, and so Ibarra concludes that there is an invader on the island. I think that's the very last thing.
Because it's the same. It's the same kind of ice that was on the ship. So his eyes go. The weird thing he puts on the scary voice.
Meanwhile, the sand gets back to Senku and the gang, and they look at it.
It's gold dust. Thank you very much.
And we learned about gold dust and platinum and golden Kamuy. It's a nice little cross synchronization thing that Senku's like, yeah, sometimes you can get little bits of platinum in it, and the little kid is kind of like, oh, I'll go looking for platinum now. And it's like, it would take you decades to find the amount of platinum we wait a minute. There's a lot of platinum in this sample of gold. It must have taken them decades to get.
That always
me-year-old dad.
Yeah, that almost had me going even before we got to the flashback of just.
It's so well done. Just them picking out platinum and realizing.
It's just so much what's not said, and it's obviously it's no fun. You'll be always one joyous reunitings over the course of the series. People get petrified and depetrified. But it's always these little moments now. It's like Senku can't ever kind of get that because whenever Bob bringing someone from back from the petrification fun, his dad is fun and gone. But it's still these little fun moments to have to connect across millennia all together. And he will never let it show. He will never let it take actually what's getting from him. But it gets to him. You know what fucking gets to him.
Yeah,
and
then we get
I mentioned all about kind of moving as well because it's what's not said, and you're filling in the blanks, you're filling in those feelings in your own head, and it's so much closer then to you.
And then we get the flashback of the dad slowly aging over decades, collecting platinum and gold,
having his kids go, Grandpa, stop fishing for gold in the river. And he's like, I gotta keep doing this. When I fucking die, take my bottle of gold and put it in that big capsule over there. And yeah, him keeling over in the fucking river,
Yes,
basically.
and then going, oh, at least I died face front so I can see space reflected in the water. Is his final thought.
Because his whole thing was like, I'm the last astronaut. I'm an astronaut, which means I do things to benefit humanity. And I might be benefiting them 1,000 or 1,000,000 fucking years in the future, but I'm gathering together enough resources that they won't be starting from as bad
From
scratch.
square one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's right, like, you know, if this goes and when we're fucked, like, you know,
because there's certain materials like platinum that are very difficult to get.
yeah, and it's like it isn't like fun. Senku was keeping all this to himself, you know, and lording it over him. If one, he's actually willingly kind of sharing in this. He's actually, you know, he's finding the best people for this job. You know, if we're going to do it, and like, God, that's because they're a part of this as well. Because he also knows that I'm the one who knows all this, but also I can't do it for myself. So
yeah, when he's talking earlier in the episode,
even if I were to go, as much as I kind of know, things probably would find a way to get on without. But he's fun doing everything he can that, you know, while he's here to get everything up and running again.
Like he points out, like I wish I had Koheki here to make these tiny little motors, because he'd do a much better job than I would do, because they're very buzzy and messy, which is fine when you're trying to make a little wrap, but less fine when you're trying to make fine, precise machinery.
Yeah, and at the end of the flashback, Ed's like, "Oh, you and your dad are a lot alike," and he's like, "Yeah, we're not even related by blood." I was
not that matters, as he points out.
Yes, because that's a plot point which you think's going to go somewhere.
It just means Senku can fuck these people. They are unrelated to him. Don't. It's not weird, okay? Don't fucking think too much about it. It's fine.
But I appreciate it not being a thing of one saying, why is that going to be a fucking big mystery? It's actually something that
happens. Because they have the
same
hair. It's weird.
It happens very frequently. I'm adopted into my family, and like so many of my aunts have the same like one curly hair that I do. And saying, "Oh, sure, it's like you're always one of us," you know. But it's never ever like a fun thing, you know. It's never like it happens a lot of times. But when people just like, you know, they take people into their lives themselves. They get that love to give.
Like, it seems like it's going to be a plot point in it, but like I think it's more so to show us, like, family ain't just your blood. It's found and made, that kind of thing. Yeah, which is the case here.
They hit it harder, I think, in the anime here of like,
right.
Of like, it's that thing, us not being blood related doesn't matter, and then it feels like
it's not important.
It feels like it's saying that it's not important. Whereas
it's not important because it's not going to come up in the plot, but it's not important because love is the most important thing in this case. Yeah,
it hits it harder as saying it's not important to the point where you think it's not going to be important. I think because it's got people acting it rather than it being a single.
That's true as well.
In the comic, in amongst a whole load of speech bubbles, where it's now going to say we're going to build a machine which allows us to produce revival fluids at will.
Everybody get naked.
Yes.
It has the big God. He actually names the fucking show in this thing. They're the Rube Goldberg machine type thing.
Peter got a switch.
Yeah. That's it. He actually names the show. It's like, this device will let us make unlimited revival fluid. We're getting everyone back, boys.
Yep. Yeah, this wasn't quite where I thought it was going to end. Because once again, of course, I forget these are quite short seasons. Like 11 episodes as opposed to 13.
Gotta move.
Yeah, I thought it was going to end on the grabbing of the petrification device.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're going to revive everybody else first. Then we got something I probably should have watched. Niall tells me, Ranking of Kings, the Treasure Chest.
I forgot to mention it. Sorry. Yeah.
Season 10, Return of the Sword.
I didn't prioritize this, watching, but this was like, your time gets away from you, so you gotta get some more info. I said, it's probably going to be a little side story of how did Appius get that spear or some shit.
It's a new episode. Episode. Yay!
It's like taking a bit of fun saying Boji and Kage are on the road. You see them at the top and tail of this as they're off and fun started their adventure, but it's about Desha, you're #1 king, so you get to see the vault. Please step it up and get your prize.
This is after Kage and Boji kind of see someone on the road. Is like, I guess everyone has a doppelganger. It's like, weird. That crazy old man on the road looks a lot like Desha.
There could be a lot of dudes out there who got first to get beaten a banana sideways. It's
could
coming
be.
on. It's very common indeed.
Mm-mm.
It's going through it, and if you're going through in the vaults, there's some place you got here. It's really weird. You know, it's a little bit like that rune that's like
it's very
that
like
Ranjo had, where she had all the monsters frozen in glaciers and shit.
All these
like,
different color things and
artifacts and weapons and stuff.
And he's just kind of like, this is bullshit. All of this is bullshit. It's like, hey, check out these magic swords. They have the writing of God on them. They keep changing, but it's said that if you can figure out what they say, you'll like be able to like you'll get a wish that can be answered. And your man's just looking at him. He's like, Desha. He's like, those are fucking cursed. What else you got? And it's like, oh, fucking good eye, sir. Good eye. We'll write this way. Check it out. Check out our cage demons. They got a regular one and a little baby one.
Oh, but this one's now it's one of your free range demons. No, gotta keep on here with that. No, just as soon as you're ready to make a wish, just bam, we'll fucking ask him whatever you need to do.
And so he's kind of like, and your man's thinking like when he recognized the swords as being cursed, he's like, oh fuck. This guy might figure it out. He might be the one that solves the riddle of the ranking of kings.
Maybe we can figure this game out. Yeah.
But as soon as Desha is like, holy shit, a demon. That's the one that grants wishes, right? And your man's like, yeah. He's like, hey, little brother. Are you ready for me to turn him into like mortal again? He's like, no,
not yet. We haven't found his head.
They're walking him like they're walking his body like a dog to a lake to try and find his head, and they're just like. We'll probably figure this out. All right, like I tell you what, Captain, just let him loose, and he'll probably find his own fucking head. And fortunately, he's eaten by the same giant catfish that his head. The catfish spits him out, and it's like, okay, do it now, wish him back now. Before he kills a bunch of people.
Hammer's taken off. He comes off in a daze. He tries eating the corpse of something that's left on the side of the road because he was a subhuman fiend who would devour anything, rotten or fresh. It didn't matter to him. Well, he's throwing up right now. He might have come back to his human faculties. Oaken, brother, is that you? And said, what? Huh? What happened? I'm alive. Said, brother, you're back with us. He is there. He's completely sane again. I've done some terrible things. It wasn't you, man. It wasn't you, big brother. It's okay. We'll figure it all out. He's fine. He's fine. Big brother, he's okay. But hello? Come on. It's never happened before. I can kind of see it. Yeah, hold on. The line's pretty bad. You're just smiling at me, and then you're retreating into the shadows. Oh, that's never happened before.
So there's a guard that shows up from the Desha's guard who were meant to wait outside the treasure vault, obviously. And he's like, "Hey, fucking our king's gone missing. Oh shit, Oaken, are you fucking okay now? Wow, that's great." And Oaken's like, "I'll go sort this situation out, for I am Oaken the Brave and not the Immortal anymore." So they let him off immediately after he revives.
It's fun. Hey, I'm Oaken. Let me through. Won't let me through, and it's fun. Just busts him up and said, "Oh, it's pretty tough to get in here."
I did appreciate him walking through and he sees like a little caged demon child and he's like, "Caged demon child, do you want to be in this cage?" And the demon child's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "Yes," because he does the honorable thing of like, "Holy shit, a child in a cage! I gotta fucking do something about that. Do you want to be let out?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go up to the thing." And
go upstairs and see what's up. We've seen all this time as well in the galleries, even as Desha was walking through. There's shadowy figures,
watching what he's picking or not picking. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fun discussing it amongst themselves, and the ranking judges there, and this kind of Oaken bursting in and saying, "Oh, hello there." Well, here's the thing. Here's what happened, and. Basically, from Desha, he has paid that the price to bring over back to insanity was at the cost of his own memories. So
they bring Oaken up they bring Oaken up to talk him through it, and so he kind of he leaves, and he's like, "Sorry, I bust up your golem guards out the front," and it's like, "Don't worry about it. They'll reform again in a bit. They're magic golems. It's cool." And
by the way, in case this happens on the way out, just so you know, if a god turns up, here's what you do. And one of these god things, who we've seen before, they were one of the entities who formed these countries. Their will is absolute, and it's
like a king, but it's monstrous, basically. Yeah.
He's smashed around all the golems as well, and it's just like, okay, man, let's just be chill, everyone, go on. But he's thinking like, no, maybe this god might know something about what happened to his brother, and saying, wait, and everyone, wait, you telling me to wait? And it goes all kind of snarly and monstrous. You know, because like, oh shit, he's fucking going monstrous, everyone run away. Everyone, he runs into the corner, and this one saying, I'm gonna get you. Oh, he's pissing himself. Oh, that's disgusting. It's so absolute. And then fun. Why is Garland's done? Cha-cha. When thing you do when you're fighting a god, just act like you know, just feign like you're going to be a coward.
Feign complete
just fucking get him. Just fucking drop him while he's not looking. You fight dirty.
Make sure you get him at the end. Yeah. But
a god wouldn't fight fair. Why should you?
So he takes that motherfucker down. He does find his older brother's crown and cape. It's a distinctive crown and a very distinctive purple cape, and so he's kind of like to the men. I think he's running so hard. He's like, "Stop me!" to all the underworld guards, and they form like a scrum to stop him. Pretty funny, but
we're gonna set him. We're gonna find him. We're gonna bring him home, and come head or high water. You know. It's just like puts this other little kind of wrinkle in it, you know. Because besides that, the king judges, there's some other fun council of some other kind of figures who have this whole thing so, but they're just kind of quietly observing it. You know, they have some stake in the game, or they're just kind of betting on it and for fun to see what happens, or
are they actually do have some higher purpose? Because
like the judge was, the judge was saying, is there somebody who can kind of break out this cycle of this? I Desha came close because even he was aware of the trap. It was just like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Oh, brother, when you become king, make sure you bring home lots of advertising for a fun, saying, don't be stupid. That's what they want you to do. The same old trap. You know what happens to a king who gets flipped up in his own greed? He found it at least his downfall. That's not going to happen to me.
Yeah. But so it's his greed is his love for his brother in this case. Yeah. Yeah,
it circles all the way back around. So when it's at fun cost to himself, then it still leads to his downfall, but it is to a better end. I think no matter what you do, the fun, they know all the fun genie rules of this. They've probably seen a lot of kings come through here trying to pull a fast on them, so they're fucking like have accounted for every possibility of someone trying to interpret these laws in different ways. So they and they lay all these fun stuff in front of you. Fun. If you're a mark, you'll go for the cursed sword with the god running on him. But he's not. This guy's wily. Well, maybe he can kind of get out of it and say, nope. He
has a selfish desire, which is a selfless desire. Yeah.
His love is what will bring him down. You know?
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, you're kind of fucked.
It's good. I like you said, Brian. I wonder if we're going to get the rest of the story at all. It's the problem because it's very enjoyable. Yeah.
There's a fair few chapters, but I don't know whether he's finished the next, because at the end of this episode I see that it's Boji and Kage arriving at a
very low ranked kingdom.
A lesser kingdom, you know. Boji, don't be a rube, you know what that was saying. But maybe I shouldn't be like discouraging the trust, because that's what drew me to suicide in the first place. It's fun. Boji, you keep being the best little young lad you will ever be. You know, unwittingly enough, unaware of any of the tragedy and fucking horror, sorrows that's unfolded across in the other side of the land.
Yeah.
Then we got MASHLE and Magic and Muscles, episode 10, Mash Burnedead and the Divine Visionary. Some guy with split hair shows up at the door with a note and also enters the dungeon that our heroes are in.
If anyone's questioning what the purpose of Finn is in this thing, now the purpose of Finn is if you just had Love and Dot, you'd be having two people having conversations of things they think are reality, but none of them actually really talking to each other, and you'd have no one reacting to it. Finn is necessary for the situation.
He's a speedwagon.
He's speedwagon, but also he's the one who can see reality is the difference. Because she's just like, all right, my dad taught me that all women are queens, all girls are princesses, so you have to say you love me. And he's like, sorry, I'm already betrothed to another. And Finn's like, no, you're fucking not. And no, that's not right. What is fucking wrong with all you people? But she's got hurricane magic, so you know.
Well, completely unrelated. Thinking, oh, it's going to be like a charm magic. No, we already had a charm magic. He's just got hurricanes. It's just one blast you against the wall, but not off his headband. And I said, he's one of the accursed tribe with the cross-shaped mark on their foreheads. Who's when the emotions go out of control, the power goes out of control, and he just blows her up because he's secretly super good.
He's got a second mark that is one that's activated by getting emotional, but he blows up all around her, and just to show you, I'm not actually going to kill you, but if you fuck off now, and she's like, absolutely, I will leave now, sir. Thank you very much.
The reason his emotions come to high is because she's explained the plan. I'm going to hold you off because the fourth over there, he's down the corridor, and
he has the magic ability to turn one person into stone, and he's already activated on MASH. So in a half an hour, MASH will be a statue.
He has to gather enough magic to activate it. So he's gathering magic for half an hour to turn it to stone. But then he has to.
So and the idea that you'll fuck up MASH, and it even has the same. I did like that with Dot, kind of going as like get down, stay down, scumbag, which is the thing MASH said when he saved him from that steel guy. It's just like. It's like, I gotta do this for MASH, yeah.
He has a flashback to when he was a little kid and being bullied, and his big sister had to save him and explain that one day you're gonna get a real friend and they're gonna do these things for you. And then he flashes.
You're gonna want to fight then. You're gonna want to fight for them.
Flashes back and then flashes a little bit forward to remembering all the things MASH had done for him. And he's like, hang on a second, that friend my sister was talking about. How dare you turn him to stone?
Yeah, it's a funny emotional reaction. And it's after he does his cool machine gun explom, it's completely undone by him laughing maniacally, going like, I'm the main character. I'm fucking great.
They bring out the stone guys up and saying, yeah, I'm Milo Genius. I have stone magic. I'm so good. So I've been stabbed by a giant sword. Oh, Jesus.
100 giant swords. That's way more.
His big brother Ray names the divine visionary, who's has the power to summon swords whenever he wants them. He's come here to clean house.
And he's like, when he shows up, because they're all like, he's in our house and he's shown up to help us, but so he's an ally, right? And this is as he's kicking the shit out of fucking Milo Genius on the ground, going like, you really have to show him who's fucking boss, kind of thing. Like, I don't think he's a good guy.
I do love is sneaking off in the background, seeing Genius being constantly pounded. He's basically telling he tells Finn and Dot to what are you two still doing here? Leave. As he's still kicking this guy.
And Love is taking her robes off and is going like, I'm going back to school. Goodbye. I'm out of the plot now.
Because he's transferred to the business class.
He's come down here because there's a spy for Innocent Zero in this dorm. He's got to find out where they are.
Oh my God.
He's been given orders from the top, by which I mean the principal. Yeah.
And so he wanders off, and then he sees MASH, and he's like, I'm getting a weird vibe from him. It's not magic. It's like a threatening aura. I'm going to summon this spider creature who will react for me because I'm as deadpan as MASH. And so therefore we needed a third character in this scene, much like the previous scene, who will react.
Yeah. It's the three-way fucking man's eye type humor that works very fucking well. Yeah.
And it's also the fact that Rain is as deadpan as MASH. It's the first guy.
Yeah, you need someone reacting to these two fucking idiots because they're not going to properly react to each other because he's throwing a sword at him. MASH like grabs it between two fingers and flicks it away. He's like, well, dude, don't throw swords. That's dangerous.
And the spider's like, at him.
Yeah, the spider's like spider
to a chair. It's just like, and usually for any other like sorcerer did probably be doing that kind of the small face. Hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Hey, stop it. No, and his face gets smaller and smaller as they get more shot by. It's just like, this guy's got to throw more swords at him until he goes down.
I know because he once the magic counts as zero, he's like, okay, hang on, right.
Something's up with this fucker. All right, the spider has determined you to have zero magic power, which is either you're off the charts or you're up to something. So
5%, whatever his spell's called.
Partisan, I think is what he calls them.
5% partisan, all sorts, turns them into a throne. One more, 10% partisan, just to make sure you are who I think you are. And then he's picked up one of the other swords and he's swinging it like a warm up for a bat, and then he just bunts all the other swords.
Bunts all the other swords out of the air, yeah.
And Rain notices that the spider's lost its ability to make spider puns in shock. You must be the kid the principal told me about. I was supposed to keep an eye on you. The principal has told Rain that Mash has no magic, and
Yeah,
Rain is
but
also
he's exactly the kind of thing we need to change the wizard world, which
he's
is
also
corrupt.
fully on board that Mash should aim to become a divine visionary. You have to get really strong to do that.
I only want people to help me out to solve this corrupt world who can stand up on their own. That's the important thing to me. Here, have this magical hanky to clean your wounds that I've given you. And it's like, it's got little rabbits on it. And it's like, Do you like rabbits? Thank you for the magical hanky.
It's two stone-faced men staring at each other, expecting a reaction to come out of one of the other's faces.
It's because generally they're the guys who's the straight-faced, and then the other person reacts to their straight-facedness. But there's two of them, and that makes it funnier. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, and then he goes off to meet the final boss. He goes to the door. It's like, which is this, a push door or a pull door? Oh, it's a push door. And he's
always the trouble with these.
About to go through, and then he gets a vision of
Cream Puff Chan, or whatever the hell that little thing was named. Yeah, that Lemon gave him.
That little talisman to keep me safe.
I'm gonna push this door through anyway. And then
your man's like, "Do you have to fucking break every door?" It's like, "I tried knocking. This is what happened." That's his cool line that he ends the episode on.
It is, but we saw him like he was about to go through, and then he had the vision, and he formed into a fist. Yeah,
you know what? Fuck this guy. Fuck his doors.
Yes,
Who fucking? Yeah.
This guy does not deserve politeness. As it wasn't going to accept Rain's apology either to begin with until he gave him the little. Yeah, a lot of fun. There's a few bit of wonky drawings later on, but the action plays out quite well, and the vocal performances are pretty much.
It's a pretty workman-like thing, but it has these like occasional heights. I think some of the ones in the former half of the previous episode was certainly pushing it a little more than it would normally.
I think what they do, like, and it does it quite well, is it has like a very Shonen-esque fight. And you're like, yeah, okay, and then I got more power, and then I'm gonna win. But then it ends it with jokes, and that's the bit where it's very fucking good.
Yes.
Like it was the same with like Dot and Love. It's just like it ends on fucking jokes and silliness. Yeah.
Yeah. It never loses sight that it is primarily a comedy.
Yeah.
Then finally, we got Birdie Wing 24 Promise. It's the British Open. Our two girls, they're going to aim to get to the top, so on the final day they can play together. But there's one problem: this woman who Eve has never heard of, who's a better golfer than the pair of them.
Best golfer in the world.
Like the episode opening on like a sinister boardroom at night with men wearing sunglasses, looking at pictures of golf courses and reading out statistics, and I was just like, this is a very serious kind of thing. And I was like, oh, you're one going to be like weird the cyborg. She's like, no, I'm the normal one here. She keeps insisting.
I really liked you, because I've always got an impression where she's got this very intimidating aura when you get her in the opening of a fun saying, she's actually pretty hippy-dippy fun saying, nah, man, it'll be grand. Fucking the moon is going to be waxing on that day. The moon tells me that I'm going to keep stick to my plan. I can't fail, all right?
And even
you always got to unexpected, if you can run all the numbers and do all the profiles of the players, but something else might happen. So just gotta trust in the moon, gotta trust in the universe, baby. So I kind of like this bit hippy-dippy like that,
But even like when her predictions are going wrong, she's like, "Ooh, that means that golf is still exciting. I'm happy about this outcome."
Looks like I gotta go up a gear and start getting serious.
Like there's nothing. It's not that she's like deadpan, like very po-face serious. It's that she's very she's unflappable. She's like, yeah, I'm fine with every situation. This is okay. This is all good.
We've seen a contrasting approaches thing. It was like, both Eve and both Aoi, when they're like fucking striving to kind of, put their all into this to kind of get to the rounds they can kind of play together. And with Eve, it's just like, I finally gone pro. I finally kind of free of my past. I know who I am. I got a future that I want to live for, I want to fight for. I got to play against Aoi. I got to keep going for that. And Aoi's also pushing herself, I'm fighting against this condition that I have. I can play golf for so time. So while fucking Eve is like, she's got something worth living for, Aoi, she's got something worth dying for. And they gotta meet somewhere in the middle before the end of this.
And you got the thing of like Eve's main frustration is it's like, why the fuck am I playing against Aoi? Who's this other fucking woman who's playing with her? It's like, yeah, you got to go up in rank to be playing against Aoi because she's doing the best in the British Open so far. That's how this works. And this is the best golfer in the world currently. She won the British Open last year. You haven't heard of her. Okay, all right.
Yes, she made the most money last year. She won the British Open. Yes, yeah.
I mean, if you're playing the British Open, you should probably know who won last year. If they're playing this year, that seems like important thing. But again, she doesn't pay attention to names and people. So yeah.
Yeah. It makes it fairly clear that Eve's body is now up to doing her move. As well. That that she was able to work out and get stronger, and of course Aoi has just been preserving her body.
Yeah, but Eve is also like, no, I don't need to go fucking like fucking Mach 10 every shot. I'm doing things. I'm just like I'm playing the smart games. I'm asking my caddy, fun saying I don't need to fucking do his fun. Ken itching out, watch it do fucking. That's right. I'm standing here with you on the British Open fun. Just knock it in 7 meters behind the pin and roll back in, do all those shots. She's just. Well, it works comparatively from when Aoi feels like fun saying, well, I got the sweet special move, and that's how it's bitten me looking to get fucking chip in eagles and every other hole. She's the one pushing herself and using her fucking special move every time, and that's fucking running her down.
Yeah, and as our new golf lady is kind of like, it's just like, she has the beautiful wings, but the wings of Icarus, which will melt as she gets close. Wait a minute, she's not slowing down. Oh shit! I see her club is named Shining Wings. That means it's not one that melts.
Yes. Signs important. I fucking when that black cat crossed my path this morning, I knew it was gonna have a hell of a day.
We just confirmed that all the golfers can see the special golf skills. They're not just there for our benefit, but they can't be picked up on camera.
The amount of time it cuts back to all the opponents and everyone we've beaten is like, oh, she's just like when she follows in doubles. No, she's better now. That kind of, fun.
Yeah, and then on the very last, she's about to take her very last shot. The ball's right next to the hole. It's just a tap in. Aoi collapses, and then she pulls herself up, and then collapses again.
Well, I mean, like she's pulled up by her caddy, and then she's pulled up by Eve running from the crowd, going like, "Get the fuck up and fight!" Yeah.
Don't you die on me.
And so she's like walking, kind of like not very well to the last pin. It's just like you just need to sink the last one, but you are on your last legs. Yeah.
Super. It still also is a shot that if she could just stand up, she could sink, and then we have to see whether the doctors are correct or whether JoJo is correct. The JoJo's opinion is that her wings will shine forever, suggesting that she'll be fine. She'll just have to deal with collapsing every so often.
Will it be forever because she's gonna fucking go out on top because she's gonna win this thing and then her fucking heart's gonna explode. She'll never be able to take that record off her.
Yeah.
It's all very melodramatic. It's all very soap opera and saying, "Fine, no, not here, not now. At the final battle, the climax, you deny me this match, this promised bout between us." That'd be like to have.
Because they still haven't played golf together yet.
I half expect them to be that cruel and fun and saying this is like the destined thing, but it's never going to happen. You always missed each other, and then even now, when you can finally be together, it's again fate drives you asunder, fate and circumstance.
Well, one more episode to go.
And then we get space golf, right? That's when we get cyborg space golf. Come on, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, this happens that the fun Xeon declared war on Earth, on the very same day the final
of the British Open, yeah.
Dr. Colony and St. Andrews. I mean St. Andrews, and we truly did go out on top that day because she was vaporized in an atomic blast.
yeah, it's dramatic as fuck, and I'm still enjoying it. It's a very silly show. But yeah, it keeps like I mixing my sports metaverse, keeps throwing the curveballs, like by making that very serious character. Actually, yeah, she's fine. Like she's grand. You get the mysterious shadowy figures in the boardroom, and she's just like, don't worry about it. Fucking, I'll just do the best I can. They're the freaks. I'm a normal golfer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think how it's flipped it. Yeah.
I said I did like her plan of making Aoi let her just burn herself out, and then I'll catch up.
Then
with
just
the
keep
last few
playing
holes.
consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like how it's flipped the dynamic of where Aoi and Eve started. Eve was a reckless fucking devil may care one. Now she's being more considered in her approach, and she's refined it. And Aoi is just fucking literally putting her life on the line to make these shots.
Well, there we go. That is it for this week. I think that was the last ranking of Kings as well, wasn't it? I think that was only.
I believe so, yeah.
Feels like I think you guys are already doing 10.
Yeah.
I sort of kind of peak interest before there a series that's working on that, you know. What have we been doing lately? Just that.
Put the one essential episode in to make sure you buy the Blu-ray. So.
yeah. I still enjoyed it, but like,
Little
it's not very
of,
necessary.
What they'll do next is they'll rebroadcast the original series and this, but re-edit it.
Oh, in the splice it in the right order. Yeah.
In the right order of the manga. Yeah.
The Gonzo fucking cut or whatever the shit. Yeah.
Just eke out as much content as you possibly can, in the hope that the author eventually does some more chapters.
Don't listen to your mom and dad. Finish it. It's good. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's a good one.
So you hated them. The comic told me so.
Yeah, pretty much did. Right, that's it for this week. Next week, slightly less things. Ta-ta for now.
Slightly.
Wait.
Good night. Goodbye.